Never seen a lame man walk. Never heard a dumb man talk. Never seen a blind man see. I promise you will change his name. Never seen a cancer dead. Never seen all the poor get fed. Never seen a prisoner set free. I promise you will change his name. Find a home.
Hey everybody, this is your boy Bigger T for the Big C and Bigger T podcast, and I'm here as always with my boy Big C.
Hey, what are you doing?
You look different. You look.
I tried to steal your podcast. I thought we would put
There was a miniature version of. It was a smaller version.
I'll be honest with you, he didn't even
Big
think
C.
anybody would notice.
There was a smaller version of Big C in the chair. Where did that come from? I should be looking at the camera before we get started. That was weird.
It came from a previous marriage is where it came from.
I went to look over there and there was a smaller version of you sitting there. No overalls. Now the overalls are back.
The overalls are back. Yeah.
Overalls are back. What's up, Big C? How you doing, man?
Man, I am fantastic. I am having a great day. And man, we've got a lot to be happy about, I think. A lot to be happy about.
Yeah, the piggies are in the tournament. They're still
dancing.
Still dancing around. And then Clint, last night we did something that we talked about doing for a couple years now.
We've talked about it and we finally did it.
I mean, sure, we didn't do it in a timely fashion.
No.
But thanks to our buddy Joey, he kind of pushed it and organized it a little bit for us, and it worked out really good. And so but we went and tried stand-up comedy for the first time ever. Now, last week, if you listen to last week's episode, we kind of said there'd be three things that could happen. Okay. And so I'm going to go back over those and then we'll kind of give our responses to kind of, what happened. That we would kill it. We would just do a great job and, everything. Right. That'd be the first possibility. Okay. The second possibility is that we would do a participation trophy job. It's kind of like, oh, well, at least you tried, that kind of way, oh, great. Good job. Yeah. Way to go, guys. They didn't run out crying. At least you didn't stand up there and talk about animals for 5 minutes, which one guy did, y'all. One guy did. Seriously.
Animal guy talked about animals.
Yeah, it was his first time too, and he talked about like animals, stuff he learned off of
I know
animal shows.
I know for a fact at least three of us were doing it for the first time. And I know he don't listen to this podcast. So I don't care if I hurt his feelings. I don't know his name.
No.
His name is Animal Guy.
Yeah.
So I would the three first timers that went last night, I would rank them Travis Johnson, Clint Clark, Animal Guy.
Animal Guy. That was strange. And he was monotone. So he's just up there like he was narrating a animal show on PBS. Pretty much.
It's like Stephen Wright and oh crap, Uncle Fester had a baby. No, I wasn't thinking some tall guy like Lurch.
Yeah.
Lurch.
Yeah.
Wright, I mean,
but I hate to even use the word Stephen Wright because Stephen Wright was stinking funny. But anyway, and then so there was Animal Guy, and then there was so either we did great, we got to participate. At least you did good. Or we totally bombed and we just got up there and giggled, or just, nerves got the best of us, whatever. So Clint, where do you think we fit on that spectrum? Where do you think the results?
I don't think we killed it. I don't.
No.
I don't. But I think there was about 21 people that went last night. And I would put us in the upper half.
Yeah.
I really would. I mean, and I got a bone to pick with Joey, because Joey told me 2 minutes is what Joey told me. He told me 2 minutes. So I prepared for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Then I was prepared, like, okay, 2 minutes, that's all I'm gonna need.
Yeah.
And it turned out we got 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, so I had but I'm so nervous. I don't want to think of a lot of new material because I'm there. I'm there. I've got a game plan. No reason to deviate from the game plan. I think the game plan's funny.
Yeah.
And I got laughs. And it was I don't know if it's because there's a lot of bad comedians or the crowd was just tough.
Well, when and here's the thing, the first guy gets up there, and of course it was a lot of very vulgar stuff, which was very, which a lot of people go to just because they can't be funny, and so they gotta do stuff like that. But anyway, I'm not judging, but the very first guy gets up there, and his first joke is talking about having inappropriate relations with peanut butter.
Right. Yeah.
And you knew, well, that's when I knew, okay, maybe I shouldn't be so nervous. maybe I could get up there and just sit there and giggle and be funnier than some of this stuff. Maybe if what I talked about, I did when I was a little kid in church, when I first sang and just giggled in front of everybody, like that might have been funnier than what some of the folks started out with.
No, for sure. And then there was the one guy that just, you could tell that he's like, oh, okay, I want to make this up as I go.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there were also some really, really talented guys.
There was.
There was a couple really talented guys. The guy that closed the show.
Yeah, the guy that closed the show did a really good job. He just did crowd work, and he kind of improv comedy stuff, and he was really good. He just and that's why they had him up there, because they knew he would be funny, I'm sure. And he talked about, he talked about me, he talked about some of the other comics, and
talked about me,
and talked just kind of, he was great. Talked about Wesley and Casey, which our friends Wesley and Casey, we've talked about Wesley on here a lot. It's so funny because they were sitting on the front row, and of course they're brothers, so they look, a lot alike. And Wesley was the top, and we've mentioned this, but they're both were the type of kids that, it's just the way their genes are or whatever. They had mustaches at an early age,
Yeah, no, I joked that I've never known him without a mustache, and he shaved it off.
And so this guy comedian gets up there and he goes, "You two guys look like the Mario brothers, Mario and Luigi." And of course, all of us that know them, we're just dying laughing because it was just perfect for them. But anyway,
there's something about seeing your friends get roasted by a comedian.
Yeah.
It's just like great. You roast them all the time.
Yeah.
But when your friends are doing it, it's just, there's something.
Well, especially when they say something like what we would say, But anyway.
All right, Travis. So on letter grade, A to F, where would you grade you and where would you grade me?
I think we were both C's.
Really? Yeah.
I think we were passing. I think, well, no, you know what? No. Sorry. No. B's. Because we were better than average. When you, like you said, we were better than average with the guys that were there.
Yeah.
When you looked at, there was 21 people there, and we were far better than the average guy there. I thought we were more comfortable, more relaxed, less nerves than what a lot of them showed. More together. Now, some of that may have been because we wasn't drunk, or whatever. I mean, some of them may have had some stuff clouding their minds, but I mean, some of them were up there like they were reading note cards.
Yeah.
And these were guys that do it on a regular basis. Some of them like do the open mic. But I would say for a first time and for that crowd, okay. Now, if you put us in a crowd of guys that do it all the time or something, that letter grade may go down. But I think in that crowd that night, yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, the crowd wasn't very good. It wasn't. No, I think it helped that we had brought the majority of the paying audience.
That's true. Yeah. That helps.
We probably about 10 paying customers, and 5 of them were us. But no, I thought we did good. I really did. I wish, of course, you go back and think, oh, if I could have done this, I'd known I had 5 minutes. I could hit them with a few more one-liners.
Yeah.
I had the goal that I started off with, and then it was just I went into my story, and so yeah, I don't know if I'm going to do it again, but it was something I wanted to mark off the old bucket list.
Yeah.
But they do it at the Joint in North Little Rock. They do it every Tuesday night. Fun. I thought the host was just amazing.
Yeah, he was a super nice guy.
Super nice guy. I did enjoy that when he goes, all right. He goes, you can't say this, other than that, you say whatever you want. You're good.
Yeah.
And then me and you both like, okay. I don't even think I actually curse. You don't curse at all.
Yeah.
And I don't think I dropped one curse word last night. So
yeah,
give myself credit for that. I got the PG rating. So but no, he said, okay, I'm gonna knock on the door like once. At 4 minutes, you got a minute left. And then because I do it again, that means stop. And then I'm coming to get you.
Yeah.
And there's one guy coming to get you because I was teasing because you went 16th, I went 17th.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was teasing you in the back. You're like, he's got to come get you. You're so long-winded.
Yeah.
And then you went out there. Then I told the guy, I was like, man, hey, he said, man, if you're getting laughs, I'm not gonna, if they're rolling, I'm gonna let you keep going.
Yeah.
It compared to everybody else, he should have let you keep going.
Well, and I had more, I had this whole deal. My act, I had this deal about me being a preacher.
Right.
I had this little deal, and it was when I timed it on my way up there on my phone, and it was gonna be about 5 minutes. It was right just a little over 5 minutes, but I spoke slower in my truck, doing it than I did in front of the crowd. Although after your wife sent me the video, I spoke slower than I was more relaxed than I felt like I was.
Yeah.
I felt like I sped it up too much when I was doing it, when I was kind of critiquing myself afterwards. But then when I watched it back, I actually did a little better than I thought I did. But there's a couple of them I should have let breathe a second before I said my joke, my punchlines and stuff. But anyway, I threw in that I had a whole Dollar General thing too. Like I had a couple more Dollar General jokes that like I had another 5 minutes of Dollar General stuff. Okay. Or like Dollar General type stuff. And so I threw that Dollar General joke. I was like, cause I knew I had another minute or so left, or I had more time. And so I was like, but I could have kept going with some Dollar General stuff because I had some other stuff there. I almost told one more of those, but I decided to go off because I got a pretty good laugh on the whole the potheads wanting Mountain Dew Takis and Axe body spray. So
now you're up there, and of course was it Brett or Brett? I can't. It's either Brent or Brett. Brett. So I'm sitting there talking with Brett, and I'm telling him the story. I'm like, yeah, me and him, we have a podcast together. We kind of, we started doing this. And you're on the stage and you're talking. And I tell him, I said, you may have to go get him. Like, seriously, he's long-winded. I said, I love him to death. He is one of my favorite friends in the world, but he is long-winded. I told him about the podcast where I was about to poop myself, and I was giving you the like, come on, Travis, I gotta go. And I finally went, you got to finish this one without me, buddy. Bye.
Yeah.
And so he got a good chuckle out of that, which in retrospect, I could have said, I could have talked about my more podcast and told that story. It maybe got a chuckle out of it. But yeah, man, my only regret was I didn't do more. I thought for the crowd, I got laughs. I really did. For the crowd, I had laughs. But when you're thinking 2 minutes, and I don't think when you get there and you're doing some of the first times, the time to make adjustments to what you planned. Like I'm going to go 2 minutes, and that's what it is. Maybe I could have talked a little slower and, like you said, let some laughs breathe.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, some of those guys are really funny. And a lot of those guys that were there, like, hey, I'm just workshopping stuff.
Yeah.
I'm seeing if it works. And we started this podcast, really, we've kind of dwarfed and are transformed into more of a sports podcast, which me and you both love sports. So it works out.
Oh, yeah.
And it's our wheelhouse. But this, when we first started talking, this what got us talking about was that Comedy Store documentary. And they're talking about how, the guys talking about how you have to, it's a constant grind.
Yeah.
You got to be writing new jokes and new material. Where I don't think I'd ever be a good stand-up comedian, I'd ever be happy doing that. Was, Tom Segura, Bert Kreischer, and Joe Rogan, they all go out and they'll do a tour and they'll tell the same jokes.
Yeah.
To the crowd. And I'm like, I wouldn't, I feel like I'm cheating, I feel like I'm cheating them because I'm giving them the same crap every night.
Yeah.
I haven't heard it. So I just, that's me, because if I feel like if I went back to the joint next week, like, okay, I'd have to come up with something completely new.
Yeah.
Instead of just building on that act.
And see, that's the only reason I wouldn't mind going back and trying it again, is because I have written several things. Like the hardest thing I did to get ready for last night was deciding what to go with. And what I came down to, what I chose was something that I felt more comfortable with, that I felt was more not me forcing a joke. It was more me just telling a little bit about me, sort of,
Yeah.
And so it was, because I was just talking about me, because I talked about, that kind of who I am a little bit. And so that's why I ended up choosing that, because it just kind of flowed like that way. But I probably had 4 or 5 minute sets that I could have done that I've kind of got ready. And then, a couple of which are stories that I don't know. It would have been hard to do in 5 minutes, to develop them and do it all. But that would be the main thing. I wouldn't mind doing it again, just to kind of try that, just to try out some of the other stuff and see what works better. Because immediately there was a couple of jokes that I was like, man, this one would have killed, and this one would have killed,
No, because
but I was real careful about trying to make it all flow too.
Right. No, I think I could have went, definitely a lot of Scooter jokes. Could have done that. I could have had a lot more fun had I known I had the time. And part of the reason I would be thinking about trying it again, and I say I won't, but I probably will.
Yeah.
I'll probably just go in there on a Tuesday, just me and Anna, and just sign up and see what happens. And I may be one of them guys that no one laughs at, no one claps for.
Oh, no.
But I don't think it would. We're both genuinely funny people, and I'm not being cocky when I say that, but you're a funny guy. I'm a funny guy.
Yeah.
People enjoy talking to us and conversating with us because we are funny. And part of the reason, we do have the listeners and viewers on this show is because we're funny. We're not super smart guys. I mean, that's
Speak
for
for you.
dang,
Yeah.
dang sure. Yeah, no, I can speak for you too. No, we're intelligent, but we're also quick-witted and funny, and that's part of the reason people listen to this stuff. But
Yeah.
it's a difference between being able to be funny in a conversation and get up there and hold, people's.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Because why the majority of the crowd's the comics,
Yeah.
so making them laugh
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, for
is,
sure.
is good, and that's why I was like, when the last comic got up and he referenced mine and your stuff, I was like, okay, we did something right.
Yeah.
Where he remembers what we, he remembered what we were talking about, and
Yeah.
he remembered.
Yeah.
So I really think that we did good. And
Well, and some of those guys too, even the ones that weren't very good, to be honest with you, were some pretty nice guys. I tried to talk, just have some regular conversations with just, quite a few of them. And, like that one guy, Ben or whatever that I talked to beforehand, I was supposed to go after him.
right, yeah,
He's like checking later. He's like, hey, when are you going up? Like he was wanting to hear how I did, and that that shows he's a cool guy, and then I talked to that what was that guy's name that uh kind of a younger black guy that sold the hoodies.
oh yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah,
I talked to him after we left. After everybody left, I stayed around and talked to him for a long time, and he didn't get to hear ours. He was outside on the phone or something, but he was just a super neat guy and real encouraging, and was like, and he's about to try to like move to LA, and partially for his job, for his day job, but he said he can get a better, what he does for a day job. He counsels with like kids and stuff like that have dealt with trauma. And he said he can get a better job doing that out there and go after this comedy thing. And he was good. Him and the last guy were the two best by far, I thought, of
yeah.
the ones that were there. So, but there were some neat guys, I mean, even though some of them got up and talked about some strange stuff. I mean, they were nice guys. Now, but I tell you, if you're into psychology and you want to psychoanalyze some people, go to open mic night at a comedy club, because those guys will talk about, like, those folks are strange cats.
But no, it was fun. It was terrifying. It really wasn't that scary, honestly. I don't know why. Once guys started going, I realized I'm just as funny as that guy.
Once dude's having relations with peanut butter, you're not too worried.
You're talking about looking at a bottle of Jif going like, hey, what's up,
yeah. Like, yikes. Well, hey, all right. So enough about us.
There you go.
The Piggies went up to Des Moines. And they took care of them Illinois Illini. Okay. That was a tough game, but took care of them. And then they had number 1 Kansas on tap, right? And Clint, look, they didn't play the best game. Didn't play the best game of the year for the Hogs. Devo had one of his best games. He definitely had a great game. Black didn't have that great of a game. Nick Smith for sure didn't have a very good game. I'll tell you, man, Clint, people have been on Walsh. They've dogged him. They've talked bad about him. They've, this guy is a nobody, or how in the world was he a 5-star?
Right.
Walsh is a good stinking player, man.
Oh, he is. He's gonna be a good hand for somebody.
And something I've said on here a lot. Sorry to interrupt you there, but real quick, something I've said on here a lot is, don't just watch the ball, folks. When you're watching basketball, watch what's happening away from the ball. Jordan Walsh plays well away from the ball. He really does. He's getting better at it. Now he was more of a reactionary player. That was my complaint about him earlier in the year. And he still is kind of a reactionary player, but the kid has skills. He has a skill set. And anyway, we'll talk about that a little more. But anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I think to the average eye, he's underachieved because he committed a lot of fouls. He's fouled out of a bunch of games. But I think when you're a 5-star, everybody expects you to come in and average 30 points a game. And that's not the way it just works. You got to fit in the flow of the offense and all that. And I think, you've seen it. But I think the big key to this team, and last year, if JD Notae was on, we were going to have a good day. If JD Notae was off, we're not going to have a good day.
Yeah.
I think this year's JD Notae is Ricky Council IV.
Yeah.
I think if Ricky Council's on, we can beat anybody in the country, as you saw against Kansas. I think that was the key. That is the key. Devo's great. Obviously, Devo's always going to be Devo. Devo brings a certain edge, to the team, and he played the game of his life against Kansas.
Mm-hmm.
But Ricky Council also had a heck of a game. And I think he still sees the value in Nick Smith, but I don't think Nick's knees still that great. But he wants to be out there and he wants to fight and he wants to be on the team, and he's going to do whatever he can. But I think he's figured out a way to work him into the game plan where he don't necessarily have to be Nick Smith Jr.
Yeah.
So okay, we can lean on Ricky, we can lean on Devo. They're figuring it out. Hopefully they're figuring it out, because I think after the Alabama game, and what was the game right after Alabama? We'd won a big game, and then we lost by 3 at Alabama. We thought this team has got it figured out.
Yeah.
And then you drop your next 2 games.
Tennessee, wasn't it, or somebody?
Tennessee, and then you play terrible against Kentucky at home.
Well, and I agree with you. And I think with the Nick Smith thing, I don't know if it's necessarily more about Nick Smith's skill set and how he's playing, which he's not playing great. But I think a lot of that has to do also with the team just plays better with the other guys on the court, because that's the team that had bonded when Nick Smith was sitting out. The team that had learned how to win games before Nick Smith came back was with Devo and Ricky Council leading and Anthony Black leading in the scoring on the court, right? And so I think and then Nick Smith comes out there and tries to be that guy. And I think that's why Muss I think he's realized that maybe. And that's why he's pulling back on how much he's putting Nick Smith out there, because he's seeing that's not working. But I think you're exactly right on the Council thing. And it's not necessarily Council doesn't have to be hitting a lot of shots. Council has to be making smart plays. Going to the basket, getting fouled, getting to the free throw line, hitting his free throws, stuff like that. Because when he starts to get out there and just tries to take over and doesn't include his teammates and stuff like that, he can hurt you worse than he helps you too.
Right. No, did I tell you how I watched the end of the game? Have I told you this story yet?
I don't think so.
So Dustin, who we've had on this podcast as a guest picker, works with me. Gorgeous beard, just breathtaking.
Yeah, I remember the beard.
Yeah, I can't grow one that good. If I could, I would.
Yeah.
So he has a jiu-jitsu super fight, and he trains with me a little bit. He doesn't train a lot. But I want to be there to coach him, so obviously my priority is to be there for him. So the entire way there, I'm listening on the radio. He does a super fight. I watch 1 or 2 more matches, and you've seen me at those things. I know a lot of people. It's been in my wheelhouse for 14 years, so I've been around. So I go, I'm, shaking hands, kissing babies. I leave, go get me a snacky poo at the gas station because I do love me a good snacky poo.
Yes, sir.
so I get my snacky poo, and then I'm like, all right. And I'm listening to the radio. And so the game in Kansas gets up by 7 or 8, Arkansas chips away, gets within 5. Arkansas gets up by 1. So, it's back and forth. It is the game that you thought the preseason Arkansas would play against the preseason Kansas, and it'd be you hoped it'd been further along, but that's kind of the game you wanted. So I'm pulling in, I'm like waiting on them to go to commercial because I don't want to stop listening to the game, to tell my wife, like, I'm pulling into the driveway. Please have it on channel 11.
Yeah.
It finally goes commercial, and I'm pulling into my drive. I'm like, hey, call her. I said, do it. No, she's in there. She's not a big TV watcher. I'm the one that really watches TV around here. She can't figure out how to work the TV. So I had to come in. I finally made it in, and like, and I didn't sit down the entire time I was pacing. But I was going to say this: Reed Council was clutch from the free throw line.
Yeah.
Last minute, he missed the one and then went and got a steal.
Yeah.
So, I mean, really, really kind of,
Well, but on that one, Jordan Walsh tipped it back to him.
Yeah.
And hey, let's talk about this. Our boy Kamani Johnson.
He is.
They don't win that game without Kamani either.
They do not.
Kamani, offensive rebounding, dude, he's amazing on that. And I think a lot of it is Kamani he's not so worried about getting his points. He just worries about, doing his job. And then, he ends up getting a game-winning tip back on that 2-point, on that little offensive rebound and put back there toward the end of the game. I think that ends up being the game winner. So
he's made some big plays this year. San Diego State, that was huge. Yep. This one, they've been bigger.
Yeah. And they're just big hustle, heart. I messaged him afterwards and just said, man, thank you so much. Great job. Congratulations. Enjoy Vegas. And he just doing a great job. And so now here comes UConn. Jay Billis says UConn's the best team left in the tournament. Okay, which once again, I'm sure Muss is putting that up on the bulletin board for people to for the team to read. UConn is, pretty good team. They're coached by little Bobby Hurley. Is it Dan Hurley? Is it Dan?
I think it's
Dan Hurley, something like that. One of the Hurley kids. Dan, don't call me Bobby Hurley. They have a center that's supposed to be a stud, and then they got a backup center that comes in and does a really good job. They got some shooters. They got some athletic guys. They got some scorers. It's going to be a tough matchup. How you feeling about it?
Well, you've played Kentucky twice with Oscar Shushime.
Yeah.
Easy
sure, that guy.
But they played, I don't want to call him Big O because there's only one Big O to me.
That's right.
Oliver Miller.
That's right.
Number 25 in the program, number 1 right here.
That's right. In your
heart.
In
my heart.
In your heart.
In my heart. Down deep in my heart. So they played teams like this. You're in the Sweet 16. You're not going to get an easy matchup.
No.
You're not, because at the very least, you're battle tested now in the tournament. You're battle tested in the tournament. There are very few posers left.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's any. I mean, hypothetically speaking, the 16 best teams are left. I don't think anybody's going to accuse Florida Atlantic of being one of the 16 best teams in the country.
Yeah.
But they beat Memphis and they beat Farley Dickerson, who somehow beat Purdue.
That's right.
Only the second 16. We haven't even mentioned that. Only the second 16 seed.
And wasn't Farley Dickinson the second team in their conference?
I don't know. I think they won their conference.
No, I think wasn't it them? There was one team that made an upset that wasn't supposed to even be in the tournament, but the team that won their conference tournament had moved up from Division II and was in that 4-year period where you can't go to the tournament.
So that may have been that very well may have been.
I think it was them. So like I don't even think they were supposed to even be in the tournament. Yeah. Anyway, that may not have been them. I may be someone may be yelling at their radio right now or whatever.
They probably are. I'm like, I don't think that's right, Travis. I think
but still, there was one team that happened to. I know.
Yeah. But you know, it was you take care of your business. And Arkansas has not had an easy ride.
No,
you basically had to play Illinois, who everybody says, "Oh, that's a terrible matchup for you guys."
Oh yeah,
and then you played.
I was nervous about Illinois. I was nervous about that one.
I was too. Like I told you, this team. Let me tell you, I'm going to say the same thing in the Sweet 16 that I said in the round of 64. Arkansas could lose to UConn, and it wouldn't shock me. And Arkansas could win the entire thing, and it wouldn't shock me that much.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just that's the reality of the situation where it is. This team has talent.
Yeah.
It has talent. It has good coaches. Eric Musselman is a fantastic basketball coach.
Yeah. Now, speaking of Muss, we went shirtless.
Yeah.
In the celebration. He's gotten a lot of attention this week over that.
Who cares?
Exactly.
I mean, just like literally, I mean, if you're complaining about that, you know, you're like, I would rather have that than just, you know, a coach that just was like, yeah, we won. Yay.
I'd rather have that than playing 4 players that were involved in a murder. But anyway.
Oh, shots fired.
So anyway, you know.
So let me ask you a question. This is wholly off subject, but while we're on this, because I was thinking about when I made that comment about Eric Musselman, you know, taking his shirt off, I was going to compare him to Mike Anderson's demeanor.
Yeah.
Well, you know, Mike Anderson got fired at St. John's, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
They're trying to fire him, say they're firing him with cause for not upholding something, you know. How much validity does the fact they just hired Rick Pitino?
Oh, that's terrible. Yeah.
The Mike Anderson's lawsuit.
That's terrible, man. That's Mike Anderson, whether you like him as a coach or not, or believe in his system or not. I mean, he was as class of a guy as you can find. I mean, he did everything with class. He did everything well. I mean, I saw Daryl Macon put out a tweet, you know, backing him up, saying, you know, he was a father figure and he cared more about us going to class than he did about how many points we scored on the basketball court. You know, that's one of his former star players, you know. Right. St. John needs to get off it, especially when you go hire Rick Pitino. I mean,
right. Well, it's kind of like when we were trying not to pay Brett Belima. Yeah. It's like, no, you signed the contract, you owe the man the money, give it to him.
Yeah.
I mean, no matter how bad the contract was, you're the one that gave it to him.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, it looks bad that they fired him and they're trying to say like he wasn't holding the standard or the culture. I don't think Mike was a good fit in New York City.
No.
Just, you know, there's something about,
and you would have thought his style of play would have worked well there because it is so playground style. So you think, you know, getting the guys that grow up playing on those playgrounds, you know, you'd think he would do well in that kind of, you know, that they would do well in his system. I think that's what a lot of people thought when he went there. That's what I thought, you know, that's what, but he has been, his whole career he's been in the South, man. He's been
Yeah, I mean,
Arkansas, Missouri,
oh,
UAB,
yeah.
Tulsa. And he's
No,
so
I think he'd be more. I mean, Mike's in his 60s, I believe.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Mike's probably he's got to be close to just done,
Yeah.
And if he wants to give it one more run, he'll get it. It probably won't be it'll be somewhere like a North Texas or somewhere like that. Like Oral Roberts or Tulsa, something along those lines. I think as a Power 5 coach, Big East. I'll put the Big East and the Power 5 in basketball because they've got good basketball. But I guess that'd be the Power 6. I don't know.
Something, whatever.
Something like that. But
well, Clint, also all this is going on. Of course, we're going to root the Hogs on. Hopefully, we're recording this on Wednesday, so a lot of people won't be listening and watching this till the game day. But Hogs, hopefully stay in Vegas, get a good stay in Vegas, get a few days there, and come out on top. We'll see. Our boy Big O is going to be going to the game. He saw on Twitter he was talking about that, so maybe he can get in there and motivate the guys. He's been sending them some tweets and stuff.
No, man. Now here's what's cool. Is Big O tweeted you or messaged us asked us we were going to Vegas. We could have partied in Vegas with Oliver Miller, Travis.
We could have.
If we were independently wealthy, we could have went and partied in
Vegas. If we were as cool as he thought we were. if we were as cool as he thought we was, we might could be hanging out with Oliver Miller in Vegas right now. Oh well.
But we're not as cool as Big O thinks we are.
I'll settle for Thornton. Well, now Clint, right now too, the baseball team's doing well, even though they've had some injuries and things. The offense is just doing well. The bats are hot. Wagner's staying hot, man. That guy is now his average has dropped below 400. A little bit of a slump. No, he's still killing it, man. I think his average is in 380s or something like that. Yeah. But he's doing great, man. Doing great. And they've had, with the guys that have gotten hurt. But they're having some pitchers step up, and I'm kind of blanking on some names here, but
Zach Morris pitched a well of a game yesterday. Got in, closed it out. You got Hunter Holland.
Mm-hmm.
He's become the Friday starter for him.
Yeah.
Cody Adcock. They had him come out of the bullpen later in the year. Earlier in the year, now they seem to have him as the Sunday starter. Yeah. They kind of, once they got the SEC play, they switched things around. Their Saturday starter, I'm brain farting on his name, McIntyre.
I
believe he's from Bryant Benton area.
Mm-hmm.
He seems like he's settled in. He's their Saturday guy.
Yeah.
They took Hunter Holland, who was the Sunday guy, and they moved him
to Friday.
Moved him to Friday, and who's soon to be our boy Cody Adcock. I guess I'll go ahead and let it out the bag.
Yeah,
He'll be on next week.
That's right. We got Cody Adcock coming on next week.
Hopefully, still awesome. Big series win, but they kind of moved into the Sunday guy, and I think they're looking. He wants to see Hagen Smith be the new call the cops.
Yep.
I think that's kind of that's what he envisions him like. Okay, he's there when I need him.
And once again, hopefully our other boy, Tiger, will be coming back pretty soon. And so, you don't know if Hagen Smith will have to stay back there or if he's gonna, what that's gonna look like. But also you've had Ledbetter's looked well. Dylan Carter has pitched. Yeah. Another young guy from Arkansas that's pitched wonderfully. These guys, and I think, and yesterday, who was it they played yesterday?
Southeast Missouri.
Yeah, they played them. I mean, beat them pretty easy. But in that game, he rested a bunch of players. I think Wagner was the only, like one of the only, like stud players he's kept in the ball game. The rest of them were backups, and so it was that was a good win, good midweek win for them.
This team's deep. I don't. This may be the deepest team he's had. I mean, if you spent much time watching this team play, you're like, this team's good.
Mm.
This team's good. Now you've played some people. You've played Texas, TCU, Texas Tech down in that was Dallas.
Mm.
So you played your series against Louisiana Tech, and you played some good schools. Obviously looked great against Auburn this past week.
Mm.
But now this week's a different story. I mean, this is you're going to find out. You're probably a super regional host. You're gonna be one of the top 8 seeds in baseball, but you're going to the number 1 team in the country's house.
Yeah.
You're gonna, if you go down there and you win 2 out of 3, you sweep. You're gonna move up in the rankings.
Yeah.
You're gonna get some number 1 votes because you're having to do it at Baton Rouge.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be the biggest test of the season thus far. So it'd be interesting to see how they do, especially once again, because yes, they look good, and they got some talented guys, but this is still a team that's got lots of new pieces. It's got a young and transfer pieces. And so there's still going to be some shaping and molding of that together. So seeing how they respond at Baton Rouge, you're right, is going to be interesting to watch. But let's hope that they go down there and do something awesome. And we're talking to Cody after a sweep down there. That'd be awesome.
I think that's what we all want. I mean, obviously that's what you all want, but
yeah,
you just, as the summer goes, the closer you get to May and June, you want to see the team keep doing this and keep rising and keep. And right now, man, it's the arms, just the arms in the bullpen, just the pitchers that are keeping them in it, and the offense is playing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I've seen a team, and now we did have a team when Kevin Kopps was there, but it was, let's just face it, the pitching staff had Wicklander and Kevin Kopps.
Yeah.
I mean, that was it. That's who we had. This team just seems much more complete than most teams I've seen in the past. Now, they may stop bragged up on them. They may do what the basketball team did and lose several in a row, but team looks good, and there's a lot of reason to be encouraged with what's going on.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I'm excited to see it. And now kind of going off of baseball, football's on their spring break right now. They did several practices before spring break, and then they're having a split, and then they're going to come back after spring break and finish up. They, from what, we're not getting a whole lot from them, and we talked about it some last week, but, there has been some talk about the line. They're moving guys around the line a little bit, musical chairs like they've done in the past, trying people out at different positions, but they're starting to settle in and figure that out. They're still trying to figure out right tackle a little bit. And then they're saying Criswell's looking good, that backup quarterback position. He's looking good there. So that's a good thing, and showing some leadership. So that's good for them.
Well, and I think, and I've said it before, I think this will be the last year of KJ. I think KJ is going to go.
Yeah.
Try his hat in the NFL, after this year, and he should.
Yeah.
Couldn't blame him if he done it this year because I mean I think he's what everybody tries to say Anthony Richardson is.
Yeah.
In my personal opinion, but no one cares what I think.
Yeah.
So, the 5 people that listen to this podcast, and some of them don't even.
Yeah.
But that battle for the starter next year, I think, has already started.
Yeah.
Because because if you're Jacoby and Singleton, you want don't go in the portal. Don't try to find somebody else. Go sign you a high school kid this year to develop. Yeah. We've got this locked down.
Yeah.
I think that's what you're seeing. You're seeing that competition already start. The line is probably the most intriguing part to me.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have at least 3 new starters. You think Latham and Limmer are going to start.
Yeah.
Where are they going to start? I remember my senior year going into it, it was like, okay, we all know how it ended up, but they had Clint Reed was going to start. We knew that. Now, was Clint Reed going to start at tackle or center? So it's basically a battle between Danny Albright at right tackle and me at center, and which one they want to go. Obviously, Danny Albright got the nod, and he should have. He was better than me. And then somebody else got the nod to be second string, and I just went to third string. But that's neither here nor there.
Well, I think Latham and Limmer are settled. I think they're the ones that are consistently in the same spot every time.
Yeah, I think one. Well, they've been trying one out at left tackle, and one can be a guard or a center.
Oh, okay. Well,
so that's what I've been reading, and then, obviously the transfer in Braun from Florida.
The thing is, here's the thing I worry about him. He wants to play guard, and they're saying that's one of the reasons he transferred here. Was he wanted to play guard? He doesn't like to play tackle, but then they had him at right tackle the other day.
Well, I think it's like, okay, Pittman's always good. Like, okay, who's the 6th man?
Yeah.
Because like a couple years ago, you had, I'm brain farting his name. I think he wore number 69. It's going to kill me that I can't think of this. But he played center, and then Stromberg played center. I can't remember his name, but he was basically Ty Clary.
Yeah.
He was the 6th guy last year. Keith Crawford was the 6th guy.
Yeah.
Your left tackle got hurt. Crawford was coming in. Whoever got hurt, Crawford was coming in the game.
Yeah.
And then you may you'd move Limmer over to center, whoever. All right, who's going to be the 6th guy? And so that 6th guy's got to be able to play multiple positions. Yeah. And I think that's what you were seeing. Like, okay, your primary spot may be guard, but there may be a time you have to play out here.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't read too much into it. But I think 3 of the starters are set, and so that's 2 positions that are open, and you gotta like Marion Harris's chances. He looked amazing in the Liberty Bowl. Amazing in the Liberty Bowl. They say Chambly's looking good. Curtis, Devon Emmanuel. You got some talent. He's recruited well on the offensive line. And I think he went in the portal, got that he wanted. So it's a real interesting. It's going to see how it shakes out. It really is. I wouldn't read too much into Braun being over at right tackle some. I think it's like, hey, may have to use you here at some point. So might as well put yourself with it. So that we don't want to, but
Yep, that's true. Well, Clint, I think that's it, buddy.
We made it through another one.
And this is 105.
See, I was going to say Magic 105, baby.
Magic 105.
Yeah, it's 105. The Wolf. It's weird being Central Arkansas and hitting 105 and it not being Magic 105 still.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. It'll always be magic to me.
Yeah, it will be.
But anyway, man, we did it.
We did it. We did the podcast. We did the stand-up.
We tried the stand-up game. We went. We conquered.
Here's 3 undeniable facts. We run the stand-up game. We run the podcast game. and there's nothing you can do about it.
That's right. Clint just went straight wrestling promo right there.
Straight wrestling promo.
Yeah.
That was Ric Flair 101.
That's right. Straight wrestling promo right there. Well, folks, seriously, thanks for listening to our jibber jabber today. And like and share and comment and subscribe and all that good stuff. Once again, if you don't want to just watch us on YouTube, or you can listen to this on Apple or Spotify or TuneIn Radio or iHeartRadio or Stitcher or Google or Amazon or wherever else.
Stitcher a thing?
Yeah, it's a real thing.
You made that up.
No, I was going through my notes the other day, and I got my password, and I found where I wrote down my password and stuff to that to log in. So we're on there.
I want you to figure out how many downloads we have on Stitcher.
Yeah, okay.
More than one.
Yeah,
I'd like to know about it.
I don't think we have many, but anyway, we'll see. But seriously, folks, thank you so much. Share, like, all that good stuff. Check us out next week with Cody Adcock. I know that'll be a great one. We're excited to interview him and get to know him a little better and hear a little more about this baseball team. Hopefully we'll be celebrating a couple wins in Vegas and talking about a Final Four trip. Oh, I shouldn't say that out loud, should I?
Well, we'll either be happy or we'll be sad next week. We'll have,
Right.
not just because of that.
That's right. It's going to be good no matter what, though. Well, folks, thank you so much for paying attention to us. God bless you and have a great week.
Booga booga.
Ooh.
Sweat, work, filthy, dirt, harvest, hurt, kingdom come. Sweat, work, filthy, dirt, harvest, hurt, kingdom come. Listen, that's why I sweat when I work. My hands get filthy down in this dirt. Won't see no harvest till I hurt. Crying your kingdom come. Listen, I wake up in the morning, I bow my head to pray. Mama told me if I don't, ain't nothing gonna change. These prayers breaking up hard ground so I can sow the seed. Ain't afraid of no aches and pain. Lord knows I gotta follow his lead. That's why I sweat when I work. My hands get filthy down in this dirt. Won't see no